I would like to discuss on the subject structural systems and its importance in automotive sector in today's webinar. So, structural engineering is required in every field and sector that makes physical products. So, structural engineer will be one of the subsystems that works with various other subsystems such as electrical and electronics and mechatronics and robotic systems in order to make sure that the product can be manufactured and used in physical world. So if a product, if a product is able to, if we can manufacture, if the product is able to manufacture in physical world, then only we can utilize the product. Else we can't use the product, even though if the software system runs the product. So today I'll be giving a brief idea on what exactly a structural engineer will do and his job roles in various companies. Before going into the subject, let's go through the topics that will be covered in this webinar. So here are the table of contents. So today I'll be going through introduction on structural systems and the objectives that we need that structural systems required and various applications where it is applied to in different industries. And importantly, the importance of structural systems in automotive sector and the design methodology that and design approach that has to be followed during any design of structural systems, and design for manufacturing, which is necessary. As I said, like if the product cannot be manufactured in physical world, then it is no use in designing the product in the software. And then we'll be discussing on the finite element analysis, which is the major topic of all the entire design process. And then we'll be going further topic on FMEA, which is failure mode and effect analysis. Then we'll be discussing the job roles and target companies which we can apply for. So going further, structural systems. As by the definition, structural systems refer to load-bearing systems where the loads which are generated from the source are transferred to rigid systems through interconnected links or elements. In simple terms, a structure is the assemblage of materials which is intended to sustain loads. So any structural system which we design has to withstand the loads which is it designed for. Structures are like in general, if you say how structures are available. So in simple terms, in layman terms, if you want to understand what exactly the structures are involved in our lives in so many ways. And the best example will be our own body parts. Bones will act as a structural elements and joints will act as the interconnection links between the elements. So when any work we do, any load we carry, so our bones should withstand all those loads and should sustain the mechanical forces without breaking or any physical fractures. So practically everything is a structure of one kind or the other kind. This subject is very vast that it is very difficult to understand during the initial days of how structures works and why things fail after the intended life, or if the part is not designed accordingly and why if it fails. As the time passed by and with present knowledge that we developed on structures, we have gained enough knowledge to answer some of the complex questions that arises during the design of any structures. So going further, we'll discuss on the objectives of structural systems. So the objective of the structural system and analysis is to produce a structure that is capable of resisting all applied loads without any failure during its intended life. So the structure should be capable of transferring the loads from one element to the other without failure. So here the structure doesn't only mean of bearing load. It can be of any part that can transfer load from one part to the other part. For example, if you consider any gear, so during during reduction of torque or during reduction of RPM, we use two gears. So one gear has to transfer the torque to the other gear. So here the load is being transferred from one gear to the other gear, and the gear should be structurally rigid enough to transfer the load from one gear to the other gear. So here the teeth will undergo a major teeth will undergo bending and compression loads. So the gate should be designed in according that teeth are capable of taking the load. So also the weight of the subsystem or weight of the any structural system should be maintained as low as possible unless any design constraints or any design requirements are to be met. This is to make sure that the structure is made in less cost and made with less number of less weight of the material. As you say, any structure, any structure can be made with any solid, like with solid parts. For suppose, as you see in the picture, you can see many tubes are connected through interlinks, and they are connected through triangular trusses. So instead, you can use the straight rectangular beams of solid beams, which can take the load. But the thing is, those are heavy, and the design should be even structured, that the weight should be considered, that the design should not fail over the period of time. So system should be designed. Also, one more objective in structural systems is that the system should be designed with less number of components as less number of components as possible to avoid to reduce any compliance. So compliance is the biggest issue which will lead to the failure of any component. And compliance, as you understand, like if you need to transfer any load or any force from one component to other component, if one component can transfer the load directly to the other component without any linkage between them, the complete load can be transferred without any loss. For suppose if you see the steering system in the picture here, it's a direct steering system where the steering wheel is connected to the rack and pinion gear. But whereas if you see in physical world, this system can't be achieved because of the space constraint or design constraint which is required. So if you want to have the same design in the vehicle, the wheelbase of the vehicle will be increased very much, which will be not good in dynamic terms. So unless it is required, we should use always less number of components possible, so that in order to avoid complaints. And also complaints is not good for design, as complaints will always multiply and will never add upon. So multiplication of any compliance will lead to the failure of the product very soon. And structural systems, one more objective is to make with least number of resources. So we have to consider the resources that are available near our manufacturing sector. So in order to make the parts in less cost. So by following these objectives and principles, we can make a very good design, and we can reduce the cost of the system, which is the major consideration in mass scale production. Going further, here we shall discuss the applications of the structural systems. And as I said, these applications are structural systems can be applied in very wide ranges in various fields, such as construction sectors, industrial sector, robotics, medical sector. Not even a single sector that is there without any structural element included in its design, because all the parts which are available, which are made in physical, should be designed according with the should be able to withstand the loads, and so the structures is involved in each and every sector. So if you consider any construction sector, majorly we see the buildings which are long, which have a long life to withstand all the loads and all the weight that any weights on the applied on the buildings. For example, like almost buildings will take a load, which is buildings are constructed with the design factor of safety of more than 5 to make sure that even during the earthquakes or during any floods, structures do not fall off. And so if you consider the same with the bridges, and it's the best example how engineering has been improved in kind of bridges. Now we can see a suspension kind of bridges which they are using. So earlier they used to construct the bridges by mounting the pillars into the in the water. So it's a very difficult to construct a long bridges. So as the engineering has been improved, and we can see now a wide ranges of bridges with suspension suspension mechanism used, so that only few pillars are installed into the water, and much of the bridge is held by the suspension setup with using ropes and strings. So if you go to the applications in industrial sector, you can see any factory or any machineries that are all equipped with machineries which make the products in real world. So these machineries also undergo a various loads to perform certain tasks. So for example, you see any factory, they majorly work with robots. So if you see the robot, it has the main function of the robot is to make sure that like in making the parts or else assembling the parts. So it has to carry the part from one place to the other place, and it has to perform certain tasks in assembling the parts. So these robots should be rigid enough to withstand all the loads that are hanging from the portion it is carrying it. And similarly, transportation sector, and it is, as we see everywhere, anywhere, all the transportation sector, it is completely held with structural parts. And I will be discussing about this topic a bit more in detail in the further slide. And robotics, yeah, robotics is as I say, like structural is not only meant for carrying the loads, it also meant for doing some functional works. And in robotics, the works done by the robots are kind of functions. They have to assign the work assigned for the robots is to make sure the parts are kept in align and make sure the parts are in proper position. So going further into the next slide. So structural systems in automotive sector. It is very necessary to understand the importance of structural systems in automotive sector. As you know that vehicles are moving machines with much of the weights carrying on them. So they experience different loads which occur during the dynamic state of the vehicle. So the structures which are built in the vehicle must withstand various loads and should work till its intended lifetime or design lifetime. So chassis is the main structural body of the vehicle which houses all the vehicle parts. All the loads which occur in dynamic condition of the vehicle will be transferred to the chassis through various links and chassis through various links. And chassis will be designed rigid enough to withstand all these loads. Chassis will undergo bending, compression, and torsion under various applications of loads. So the chassis which is designed should be rigid enough and should be tested, should be performed, like simulations must be performed on chassis to make sure that it can be manufactured in physical world. So similarly with the powertrain assembly, each and every component in vehicle of the vehicle is a structural component. So in powertrain assembly, the power has to be transmitted from the source, like where the power is generated, like cylinders. So from the cylinder, The power has to be transmitted to the drivetrain through interlinks such as gears and drive shafts. So all these shafts, drive shafts and gears should be designed rigid with proper design in such a way that they can transfer the torque from one place to the one component to the other component. So suspension setup. In suspension system, this acts as the main link between the chassis and between the wheel. So if you see, the loads acts on the chassis that are generated from the road. So how is the load path of this how is the load path that generated is? So when the loads are generated on the wheel, from the wheel, the loads are applied onto the uprights, and from the uprights, the load is applied onto the suspension links. Suspension links are nothing but control arms and shock absorber, and which are connected to the chassis. So the loads which are generated from the road are transferred to the chassis with the help of suspension setup. And this suspension setup should be rigid enough to withstand all the loads and should be able to transfer complete load to the chassis in order to make sure the vehicle functions as it is without any failures. Similarly, the wheel assembly. So wheel assembly is like it undergoes a various kind of loads such as torsion and compression loads. So wheel assembly is nothing but it includes uprights and suspension link setup and hub which is used to connect the wheel to the upright. Now I'll move on to the design approach which we generally use in industries in order to make sure the part functions as per the requirement. So first we need to understand the problem statement. So what's the problem statement of the that we need to sortify. So for suppose I'll give you an example how this design approach is included in designing of any drive shaft. So first the drive shaft. So we have to understand the functionality of the part. So the drive shaft has to transfer the torque which is generated from the source to the drivetrain assembly or to the wheels. So here the main function of the part is to transfer the torque. Okay. So then we have to analyze the load cases acting on the part. So for suppose drive shaft is it. So we have to analyze where and all the loads will be acting at what ends and where will be the drive shaft will be mounted and the mounting portions, everything we have to understand, we have to analyze. So from then we have to form the design constraints or boundary constraints. Nothing but we have to see the space, we have to see the design constraints such as like we have to perform mathematical we have to perform mathematical calculations to calculate the diameter of the shaft, which is that will be rigid enough to transfer the torque that is intended for. So we have to perform certain mathematical calculations before designing the part. So here in the example that I have taken drive shaft, the purpose of the function of the shaft is to transfer the torque. So we perform torque calculations and then we'll decide the diameter of the shaft. And also, as I say, we have to consider the design constraints or boundary conditions. For suppose during the calculations, we get a value of arbitrary value which comes in decimal. For suppose the value comes in 30.2 or 30.3 mm. But whereas you go for designing the product, you have to consider the bearing which is available, the standard bearings which are available. So we can't get any bearing with a diameter of 30.3, which can house the drive shaft. So we have to go for a standard bearing, design, which the bearings are available. For suppose after that, as with the calculations, we got the diameter of the shaft as 30.3. we should go for the higher values to make sure we can accommodate the standard bearings which are available in the market. So next, we have to take the higher values for about 35 mm. Also, we have to choose an appropriate material for the components. So in the theoretical calculations that we make, we have all the calculations which we make, we will be using the strength of the material, Young's modulus of the material, ultimate strength of the material. So before designing any product, you have to analyze the material which can be used for the component. Also, we have to make a 3D model design by considering all kind of mechanism possible. For suppose in a drive shaft, there can be many mechanisms such as keyway, spline, and nulls. So for example, which is best possible design and which is good for mass scale production, we have to think in a lot variety of areas to make sure that the product that the part is able to, we are able to make the product in lesser cost. So for suppose, as I said, we can use various mechanisms for the drive shaft such as keyway, spline, and knurlings, and many other like bolting mechanism, and many more. So if you consider in a mass scale production, making splines will be a bit costlier and a bit time consuming method. So generally for places where the lower, if there is a lower torque considerations, we always go with a keyway design. And whenever there is higher torque transmissions, then we always go for spline design to make sure that the part doesn't fail during the operations.